Six Screens Telenetwork, earning the reputation of giving all the right ingredients, uninhibited, and exposing the hard, cold facts about the Watchtower Society. And now, the end is near.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome in to the Outside Story with Fran and Joe, and we're so glad to have them on with us here tonight. I know there was a little snafu for our first broadcast, but okay. I do believe now that we're all right. I do believe that we are being seen, and I think everything's going fine. Yeah, I can see the numbers are going up there now, so I believe we're all set right there, Joe and Fran. To my knowledge, we are. Can you guys, can someone write on the comments here on YouTube? Can someone write on the comments? Yeah, okay, hello, can you hear us, Jerry? Can you hear me? Can you see Joe and Fran? Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, loud and clear. Okay, we're ready to go. Thank you, Laurie. Thank you, Laurie, very much. Okay, so we're all set to go. So let's just go back to where we started. Fran and Joe did something this week that was very special. That they got themselves on a radio program in Utica, New York. And they were able to expose the Jehovah's Witnesses to the community. And I give them a gold star for that, because really that's not easy getting on a radio program. But they worked hard doing it. We're going to play the program here very, very shortly. But Fran and Joe, just tell us a little bit about what you did to get on.
Thank you. And thank you for everything you're doing to keep this going, Rick. You're doing great.
You're amazing.
Thank you, Rick. Well, okay, well, just to recap quickly, for those that may not have heard it, we began back in, Fran's going to give dates because she's good with dates.
Well, I wrote it down. Okay, yeah. So October 14th, we went to the lawyer, and the lawyer suggested that we contact WIBX Bill Keeler.
Longtime radio station, very popular in the area.
So we did, and he said, okay, when would you like to come on? And we said, no, we're not ready. Way back in October, we were still PMO. We have our daughter, our son-in-law, they're local. We said, no, we're not ready. Yeah. So we kept in touch with him. And October 27th, we showed him the video of where the daughter's being shunned by her parents. And he thought that was terrible. We told him to do some research on the XJWs, and he did. The October 27th, we sent him a video on Josh Shapiro with the Pennsylvania when they convicted the 4 men, 1 committed suicide. December 27th, we sent him the video about the murder-suicide in Colorado. And then we even sent him a video in February of Kenneth Cook with his video, Anti-Gays. So he was getting quite an education. Yeah. We told him to do whatever research he could do on the XJW until we were ready to go on. March 10th, he heard about the Hamburg murder-suicide. And he said, okay, when you're ready to speak out, let me know. And Joe and I said,
we're ready.
We're ready. So because we had already disassociated January 12th, which was only a year from the time that we found out till when we disassociated. And one other thing we asked Bill to listen to, March 11th, before we went on the interview, was to listen to Rick's program, the 6 Screens on March 11th about the shooting in Hamburg.
Yeah, we didn't want him to come in cold. We wanted him to do his research, frankly, so that he built up, the emotional understanding for it. And frankly, he really did. He did. He couldn't have done nicer. And he was concerned. And I'm sure we're going to go further with it, too. And
yeah, I was impressed, Joe. I really was impressed by him. He's a very good interviewer.
Yeah, been there a long time.
He's humble. He's not like braggadocious. No. He showed a real concern of listening to you two.
I think he's very touched by what's happening to everybody, and he's taken it seriously. And we truly appreciate that. And like as I said, I'm gonna really urge him to seek an interview with you, the the originator of all this. And,
Oh, very good. I'd love to do that. Absolutely. Well, anyways, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the friends. Listen now, what Joe and Fran did here, you listen to this broadcast and see if you can't do these things. This is very neat what they did. This is going to reach a lot of people that have never heard much about the witnesses. So let us all try to get in the newspaper, get on a radio station. They set a good example. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to live stream this. Now I'm going to make some adjustments. I'm not quite sure where to come in, but let's share it now. And then I can, if we're a little far, we might have to go back and forth, but just bear with me. So I'm going to bring it in here now. I think we're pretty much on cue here, but let's make sure we got it right where you guys start. So let's, let me turn this on now and see.
YouTube, you'll be shocked at what you find. And Fran and Joe are on the line here this morning, trying to tell their story. And Fran, good morning. Thank you guys for being brave enough to step forward here.
Good morning, Bill. Thank you for having us.
Okay, so first of all, tell us your background as Jehovah's Witnesses.
Briefly for us, we started what's called studying when we were roughly 33. Mm-hmm. It was in 1985.
Okay.
We had 3 children and 1 on the way. Fran was pregnant for Paul, our youngest one. And we began studying because we were looking for an organization where we could not only learn more about the Bible for the whole family, as well as an opportunity to volunteer for charity work. Mm-hmm. We felt that would be a good thing for the family, and we always found that it was rewarding and needed when we were younger ourselves, Fran and I. We wanted the family involved in that.
And Fran, you're a teacher. Joe, your background is in counseling.
Yeah, and left the job counseling and student personnel in college.
Okay.
Fran taught K through.
I went to school for K through 6. I taught 5th grade up in Copenhagen, New York, and then we got married, and I taught at a BOCES in Auburn. Did some substitute teaching, and then we raised a family, and I stopped teaching. But later on, when the children were older, we homeschooled them.
Okay. So if you could tell us what you've discovered and what you want people to know. You speak very critically against the church.
I want to speak as accurately as I can about what we've observed and what we see people going through, our friends going through. And this is not just here locally. It's very much here locally. It's also very much earthwide. The congregations of Jehovah's Witnesses from the Watchtower Society is more than 8 million members earthwide in congregations like we see around here. There's one right here in North Utica on Trenton Road. That's a kingdom hall. It's the hall where people learn literally about what the witnesses call God's kingdom as put forth in the Bible. So it's a place where they would go and basically to learn. It's like it's a very much a sit-down school situation. It's not your typical church that you would think of as church. It's hall where people learn, young and old together. And typically it's based on the Bible, very much so based on the Bible, which is the way it began. We saw things developing and changing through the years. There was an invisible governing body, so to speak, the leaders, the national leaders. They weren't visible. They were very much so hidden, and no attention was brought to them. Everything was basically on a local level through elders. And then they'd have their regional people called circuit overseers, were like regional managers, so to speak, which kept things organized.
Yeah.
There were meetings, 3 meetings a week. At that point, there were 3 meetings a week. Everybody would be dressed up, going to the hall, young and old alike. And in a sit-down situation, they would be learning from talks given. Members typically would give talks as well. They would be assigned information, theme, and to give talks, either 3-minute, 5-minute, maybe in 10-minute, all different types of talks, depending on the level that you were at in your progress. As time went on, we saw that things were becoming more and more authoritarian, more and more focused on the organization, on frankly the corporate structure was bearing down on people, and the requirements, heavy requirements for putting forth time in what's called field service, going door to door, bringing their message from the Watchtower, and they would say from the Bible as well, because the Bible is like the handbook supposedly for their religion.
Right.
But unfortunately, there's so much criticism about the Bible that they use, because even from Bible scholars, not earthwide, they have a very dim view of the most recent Bible that the witnesses put out. It's the Watchtower Society started out as a corporation, a book printing and publishing corporation, which became a religion, which were put forth as Jehovah's Witnesses, as the Bible talked about that there would be a witness given to people. And so they took on the name of Jehovah's Witnesses. So basically individuals would become God's witnesses.
That was in the 1930s.
Yeah, that goes way back.
Yeah.
Jehovah's Witnesses. Just
Yeah,
getting you all background.
1931, I believe. Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Tremendous amount of information and research out there for anyone to do. The organization is very much a corporately structured organization, very rich, very powerful, and it exercises very high control over the people. There are requirements for involvement. If for some reason people don't fit certain requirements, they become what's called bad association. In other words, they can't associate with that person, or if they do, it's going to be very limited, and they're going to be very careful around them because they don't bring the corporate message, so to speak.
Yeah.
They might say something that's not in line with the corporate speak.
We're speaking with Fran and Joe. They're local. And we'll get to this. They recently left the Jehovah's Witness church, and as a result, can you talk about what happened when you left? Which this occurred last fall. Am I correct?
Actually, around January of 2022.
Okay.
We became aware of child sexual abuse. There's many documentaries you can go online, and one of the big ones is called the Australian Royal Commission, and it was a study done in Australia with 1,800 victims, 1,000 pedophiles, and
who were on record.
This was over the span of 20 years, and so we became aware of this. We had no idea that this had been going on.
Yeah. One of the reasons why we had no idea, number one, they're very secretive about things that go on. They have a very public persona, and they have a very private persona, which no one knows about.
So these cases of molestation happened within the church, and it was covered up by the church?
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
So the first thing we did was we approached our elders.
Yeah.
So it was during COVID. So we did it on Zoom with 2 elders we've known for a long, long, long time. And we said, we're concerned about this. And they said, well, it never happened here. You can't believe everything that you see on the internet. We said, well, this was a well-documented.
Right.
This isn't something put out by, they call them apostates. Apostates are ones that leave and then speak against the organization. We said this wasn't put out by apostates. This is a well-documented documentary.
See, the message given from the organization is that you cannot trust anything that's said about us. It doesn't
Right,
come
right.
from the organization. Anything that you hear are lies, or that you can't trust it. So therefore, it's better not to look into anything.
Better not to question things.
Yeah.
Okay,
no
so
questions.
when you left the church, what happened to you?
Well,
Well,
we gradually,
Yeah.
because we wanted to, we knew what would happen if we came right out and left. We would automatically be shunned.
We have four children,
grown
young
children.
grown children that
Yeah.
are in it, who were raised in it. We were not raised in it. We had a culture before we came into it. Our family, our young ones, they were brought up in this Watchtower culture. That's their life.
And
And
that was your choice, right? You brought them up in this church
Yes,
innocently.
yes,
That
yes,
was our
it was.
choice.
It
Yes.
was.
There's something that's called the motivation for becoming part of that, and for why a person stays involved in it. First off, they offer promises that the Bible supposedly gives of a beautiful future, of security, of a sureness of what's going to happen to me when I die. How about my dead loved one? What about the future for the earth, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? And so there's this whole story is presented, and it's appealing. It's a very appealing story.
So you left. You say you did it gradually, but you left.
Yeah.
Have
We
you
did.
lost?
Called fading.
Are you? It's called what?
Fading.
Fading. So you faded or fading from the church. Did you?
Yeah, there's something else called PEMO. It's an acronym for physically and mentally out. So you could be, going to the meetings, but mentally you don't believe it, you don't feel right there, but you're only doing it because you know that if you don't, your family will shun you. And so there's so many in there now that are PEMO that presently.
Yeah.
But my conscience as a mother, knowing that this had been going on, and we raised our children. I approached our children and I asked them, because I didn't know. I said, were you ever physically abused? And they said no. But then there's something called repressed memory, that a child, because they don't know what's going on when they're physically abused at 2 years old, 3 years old, 4 years old, they have no idea.
No.
They can put it out of their mind. They can put it out of their memory. And they've done studies on this. But apparently they said no, they weren't. And right away, our children, started to be very careful being around us. And eventually they just cut us off.
What precipitated that was that one of the elders who basically first introduced us to the organization, who knows the family, he spoke behind our backs to them and warned them about us.
Mm-hmm.
So your children don't speak to you anymore.
Correct.
No,
Correct.
we have 2 locally and 2 that live a distance.
Bill, I want to emphasize, this is not unique to right here.
Right.
This is literally happening identically earthwide.
I will say that if you go online, you see this story repeated over and over and over again, where
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
and it might be the children have left, and the
That's
parents
exactly
will
what
know
I was
the
gonna
parents
say.
right. The parents will no longer speak
Yeah.
with the children.
Right, exactly.
Bill, there's a video. I don't know if you saw the video. There's a video from the society that graphically instructs the parents to purposely shun anything, that any information, communication that comes from the child, be it a text, phone call, anything.
And what
See the
happens?
goal.
What happens if what would happen to your children if they did? These are adult children. If they decided,
Mhm.
you know what, these are my parents. I'm going to communicate with my parents. We're going to dinner. We're going
Mhm.
to. What would happen to them?
They would get
They would
shunned.
be shunned.
They would
They
get
would
shunned.
be shunned. Okay.
Yeah.
So they told us only contact them in an emergency. We said, well, what constitutes an emergency?
Well, they haven't even contacted us with that.
No, I must say that. So we formally submitted. You have to formally give. What do you call it? Disassociation. We disassociated ourselves on January 12th. So they make an announcement at the Kingdom Hall, and they say Joe and Fran Garino are no longer one of Jehovah's Witnesses, and that officially they start shunning. But
Immediately.
but see, they had been shunning us all along because they knew, well, we would not be encouraging, and
they've gotten the members so mind controlled, be able to do this at a moment's notice. See, for them, it's a matter of faith. It's a matter of loyalty.
Right.
And basically, it's driven by fear.
So immediately when it was announced that you two had left the church, that was instant. No one would speak to you anymore.
Right.
For the whole congregation.
Right.
Yeah.
But
And
they
you-
had been doing that previous to that.
And one of the things that we see around the country, around the world, and I imagine even locally, is the shunning. You're now cut off from everyone that you knew. You're cut off from your family, your children. Which leads to, you say, leads to depression, suicide, and possibly worse than that.
Well, if you want to think about it, if this is done to a child, their whole support system basically is ripped out from underneath them.
Right.
I just can't characterize how cold-hearted it is. Now, maybe the official direction is that normal family relations for them can continue, but frankly, it doesn't, because they've gotten the people so mind controlled that it's such a faith-based issue that each individual wants to be very faithful.
Yeah.
They don't want to be viewed as being one of the faithless ones, one of the disloyal ones.
Fran and Joe Garino are local. They left the Jehovah's Witness Church, and since then have lost all contact with their family. Do you have a plan to attempt to reach your kids? And I'm assuming it means your kids and your grandchildren.
We don't have any grandchildren.
And that's the other side.
No, they devoted themselves to the ministry, and they put that first, which we thought, that was commendable. But now looking back on it, we don't have any grandchildren. So if we did have grandchildren, we would not be able to see our grandchildren. And we know of people in that situation.
This society never encourages having children.
Can you explain when you say what? Explain that. That I don't understand.
Well, they want full devotion of the individual to working for that corporation. Look, all the members are unpaid workers for that organization.
Right.
That Kingdom Hall that you saw, you'll see there. Any Kingdom Hall you see around the world, it was built by the members. No one is paid for it. It's all comes out of their pockets. They put their effort into it.
And when you say though that you don't have any grandchildren, did your kids produce children? But they were, and then you said they were given to the church. Explain that.
No. They had no children.
No, they had no children because they devoted their time,
I see.
and energy.
So they're discouraged. They're discouraged from having children. Okay.
Right.
Absolutely.
It's not that Jehovah's Witnesses don't have children. You can have children. You can have grandchildren. It's just in our situation, our children.
But see,
that was their own personal
the more zealous ones, the more ones who want to be more faithful and more role model and example, they're not going to have children. They're going to devote themselves.
What do you as I'm running out of time here, what do you want people to know? And
we're raising awareness to the fact that the people right around you in every community as these witnesses, these people, these individuals, number one, they do not know what we just told you. They're discouraged from even finding out. If they find out and if they even talk about it, they're looked upon as being unfaithful.
Okay.
They've got a lock on their minds and on their eyes and on their voices. And it hurts because what it's doing, it's stealing relationships from them. And unfortunately, it's going to lead to more violence like we're seeing happen.
Well, we saw it in Germany, right? Yeah.
Yes, in Germany. What we're doing, Bill, is on a local level, and we've done it on a national level, is raising awareness. And we are here, Joe and I are here as a support for anyone that is being shunned, any kind of religious trauma, because the Amish are being shunned. There's other groups, the Mormons, anybody that's being shunned and that needs support, we are here for them. They, you know, we keep them, their names and everything are kept.
Yeah,
We're not going to.
So basically,
It's confidential.
We'll be like a center for an exploration into what religion has done for our lives and what we can do to overcome any of the trauma and the problems.
And if I could say, you know, our children
they're wonderful
are
people.
beautiful,
They're wonderful.
loving children. They're not spiteful. They're not
No.
hateful. They never were. They're very loving. The friends, we called them friends at the Kingdom Hall. They're very kind.
But
They're very,
but it's very conditional.
yeah,
Because as soon as any one of them steps outside a very tight arrangement, they're no longer a friend.
yeah.
They're cut off.
Do you, and I'll ask you this final question, do you fear coming forward?
No,
I don't.
no.
I don't. What I fear are the ones that are trapped inside
Mhm.
who don't know and who don't know what to do to come out.
Yeah.
And we wanted to be a clear signal, a clear model of what to do and how to do that. And that there are people and there are friends that can support them and that love them.
And young children do not have a voice. So as a mother, I want to be a voice for them because no child should ever go through that trauma because it is with them the rest of their life.
Okay, Fran and Joe, how do people reach out to you if they were concerned? How would they reach out to you?
I think you've got our phone number, Bill. If they contact you, they can have, or we can give our phone number here and now.
I'd say that they can search for you online, and also if you wanted, we have your phone number. They can reach out to us, and we'll pass it along.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you so much, Bill.
Fran and Joe Garino, thank you for coming forward. We really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for having us.
Thank you, Bill.
All right. Good luck. Wow.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Wow, what a story. We'll wrap it up here on a snowy Tuesday morning.
Well, there you go, Fran and Joe. Let's get that off. Wow, that was a great interview. I mean, really it was. I guess it was Tuesday morning. I thought it was Monday. But anyways, you got on there and you gave a great story, and I think it was wonderful.
Thank you.
Bill,
Thank you.
Bill really did his part. He truly did. He truly did.
Good. Yeah, he really was good. I mean, you guys got to say a lot. He gave you the time to do it. And boy, I tell you what, if more of us could do that, it would be, I mean, you guys really broke through. It's not easy getting on a radio station like that, but you guys did your homework, and we're very appreciative of that. So anyways, we got Fran and Joe on here. So I'm going to step out of the scene, let you guys take care of your program, and I'm here if you need me.
Thank you, Rick.
The lawyer, but
The other's ready too.
behind the turnaround. Okay. So anyway, we can open up to questions later if anyone. But Joe was you're gonna read something.
No, just to let you know, this didn't all happen cold. We were doing our best to lay a plan for everything, so people would know what we were about, why we were doing this, and how they could fit in. And I sent 2 letters, which some of you are aware of. One of them, the first letter we sent was in October, was a letter from our lawyer to the congregation, to the elders. Basically letting them know we didn't want our name slandered by being mentioned in the congregation, especially at that time. It would have been too soon for everything. We just didn't want that, even if we were we didn't want to be disfellowshipped at that point. So it was like a hold off. And basically, the end of the letter says, as such, please let this letter serve as a polite yet firm notice that if your organization and its managing members do engage in any of the disparaging conduct described herein, it may result in us initiating formal legal action against your organization and any responsible individuals. Thank you for your prompt attention and courtesies in this regard. But the letter was longer, but that was just the very end of it, the gist of it. But we just laid the groundwork for who we are and what happened and everything.
The day before that we did the interview, we just contacted him. He contacted us. He said, that's perfect. I'll make that work. Thank you. Talk to you tomorrow morning. And then he said, and thanks for standing up publicly to help others. I know it's not easy. And what I texted back is, it's not easy, but depression, suicide, and child sexual abuse is 1,000,000 times worse.
Yeah.
He says, you're right. Thank you. So we're really happy that we were able to do that. We haven't really heard much from the community.
No, not yet.
But sometimes
But
it
I'm sure it's
takes
working.
time. It
Yeah.
works. People are talking.
Yeah.
And we know a lot of, our goal was to find XJWs right in our own community. And so far we have found several. We've been in communication with them. We've had several over for dinner or lunch. And we're going to be having more in the future.
And throughout all this, what we have been learning and inspired by all the other XJW content producers and Rick is your voice. Our voice is our power. Our failure to use it is our weakness. In whatever way we can, individually, whatever way we can, we have to do it. We have to keep doing it and make it as progressive as possible with a goal in mind, and let people know what the goal is. And you will find that there will be some that want to help you and work with you. And just for that, we also came out with a second letter, and this was in November 27th, 22. And maybe Fran can read that.
Okay. It says, dear friends, and we sent this out to the elders, to our children, to the
Relatives.
mayor, relatives.
we
We sent it to the radio stations. There were 2 radio stations,
And to
actually.
the psychiatrist that we
Yeah.
went to.
Yep. So it says, we are very thankful to the Watchtower Society for teaching our family God's direction for us and the hope we hold for our lives and that of our friends. However, when a member expresses any questions about Watchtower policy, teachings, or directives, the member is met with potential discipline and frequently resulting in what is termed as disfellowshipping. Immediately, all members are directed to shun them, that is, effectively cutting off all communications with them. They immediately lose all physical, social, psychological, and emotional support that is critical to their health and welfare. This organizational practice of spiritual bullying has no place in the Christian congregation, let alone in civilized society. In glaring contrast, love directs us to show the kind of love and attention that Jesus displayed when he was present, loving them, not shunning them. We are actively raising awareness of the high rates of depression, suicide, and violence among our disfellowshipped and disassociated friends. They have been and are presently being shunned by all congregation members, including friends and family. We invite you to join us in displaying true friendship and raising awareness of this present human rights crisis. Want me to finish?
Yeah, just 2 more paragraphs.
We are finding much support in our community for the need to end this inhumane, destructive religious practice. Tragically, shunning produces victims. Therefore, the Christian principled practice of extending love and active support to those affected is what we are promoting. We invite you to share in the joy this produces for all. Until the Watchtower Society makes the required changes, we are completely removing ourselves from any involvement in it. Our focus is on showing the needed love and care for all our friends. We invite all to share in this and to put an end to shunning immediately. Sincerely, and then we signed it.
And right after, shortly after that too, we sent a communication to the congregation, basically giving them permission to announce our name and requesting that they announce our name. So we wanted that next step to take place. And we wanted to let them loose and then tell them we want to be cut off, to cut from it. I didn't send them a letter. I said we put it on a postcard. I didn't want to dignify them with a letter. We just gave a simple little postcard and with a clear message on it. So at any rate, that's where we're at with things. And we've been doing our research from everybody we've been listening to, from Rick on Six Screens and all the other producers. And so we're still open for any direction and any interest too. Maybe we can help generate more direction for everybody here too.
And it's so nice to see so many on the chat.
Oh yeah,
We're seeing Jimmy and
you guys are great.
Kim, and Amanda is new on the chat, so we really
Welcome.
appreciate.
Yeah,
Yes,
welcome.
welcome. We really welcome you. Did you want to open up the line?
Yes, I'm through talking.
Okay. If Rick is still there, Rick, if you want to open up the lines, if anyone has anything they want to share, what they're doing locally,
Yes.
please let us know.
Yes, go ahead. In fact, if you're on the telephone line right now, go ahead, call in and hit *6, and that'll open up and you guys can talk. And, I'm really, really fascinated that you guys were able to get through. Like I said earlier, it's not an easy thing to do. And, all of us can do our part. We can all do our part in exposing this evil cult, whether it's people chatting here on YouTube or on our Six Screens video suite, or wherever they're chatting. That's helping people to understand who the Jehovah's Witnesses are. We really have to educate the public. I tell people when I'm standing in line at the market basket, the bookstore I go to, I tell people in front of me. In fact, not too long ago, there was a real Nazi witness woman that was in front of me at the grocery store. And I said, "You can talk to me, Barbara." And she turned around. She had a heart attack when she saw me. And I said, "You can talk to me." And she wouldn't talk. And so anyways, I kept saying, "Come on, Barbara. We're old friends. You can talk." But she kept going about her business and took her groceries and walked out. And then when I came up to, talk to the cashier with my groceries, she said, "What's the matter with that woman? She won't talk to you."
That's beautiful.
I said, "No." I said, "She won't. She's a Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah.
And if you leave, they don't talk." "Oh, I didn't know that. So tell everybody. Tell everybody." So I think it's really neat that you guys get on there. So we can, every one of us can do our part.
Oh yeah.
We really, really can.
Yeah.
So why don't you come in, say hello to Joe, say hello to Fran, let them know, well, what have you done? Is there anything out there you guys would like us to know that you have done? Well, what have you done to really expose the Watchtower? Now, I know Eric, he's listening in from Memphis, Tennessee. I know what he does. He has a program coming up here afterwards, and he's got stickers. People are even exposing the Watchtower with these little stickers. Jehovah's Witnesses are a cult. Jehovah's Witnesses cover up sex abuse. And they stick these stickers all over the place, especially with people, the Jehovah's Witnesses are manning the carts. So what do you guys, come on, say hello to us. What have you done to expose the Watchtower? Do you tell people about the witnesses? Do you speak up about what they have done to you? Let people know. A lot of people, in fact, even when we were always in the ministry, Joe and Fran, we would always, how many doors did we go to? And the people said, "Oh, you guys are such a wonderful religion. I wish my church did what you did." And, we used to kind of glee and feel so happy over that. But, a lot of these people never knew Jehovah's Witnesses were a cult. So what have you done? Let us know. Have you done, there's people who wear T-shirts. They do everything they possibly can to expose the witnesses. And we got a number of people on here tonight, so don't be shy. Come on. Tell us, what have you done to expose the Jehovah's Witnesses? Come on, you've got to do something. We got a number of people coming in here, Fran and Joe. I don't know why they're not speaking up for us. But, I'll tell you what, a lot of people think, well, I'm not protesting. Well, you don't have to protest. A lot of people say, well, I haven't really done too much, but anything, any little thing that you have done at all can make such a big, big difference. Yeah.
Hey, Rick.
Yes, go ahead, Eric.
Hey, thanks. Thanks for the shout out earlier, but I think I talked to you on the phone about it, personally, you and I. And besides doing the stickers, I didn't even realize I was being an activist just talking to people about it. And if it's anything that Jehovah's Witnesses have taught us, right? They've taught us how to lie, and they've taught us how to do a witnessing work, or whatever that. Take that for whatever you want, but they taught us public speaking, and it comes really natural for me to bring up at any time, at any moment, to talk about the witnesses, and not the greatest light, in an accurate light. I won't even want to say negative, but that's all it takes. And just from talking to people, I'm a customer at the MAPCO right around the corner, and the woman that runs the place, she's an ex-Jehovah's Witness. Now, it's interesting that her family doesn't shun her. She said she was baptized when she was 16 or 17, and I just let it go. But see, everyone has a different story. And because I said, wow, gee, I don't have that experience, But we all have different experiences of how it's went, and it's good to talk about, and it's good for her to know, a person who sees Watchtower in an okay light, maybe, okay, it's not always that good for everyone. And it's not about converting people like Watchtower do for us. It's just more of just exposing the truth like you do with your show. And thank you, Rick.
Well, you're welcome, Eric. Well, thank you for chiming in. Yeah, so Joe and Fran, they did their work.
Oh, and if I could just say one last thing,
Sure.
too. Joe and Fran, it's so beautiful what you are doing for the community, and I'm sorry that all the pain that you guys have went through, like all of us, when you wake up, it hurts. But we're all really proud of you, and thank you for that testimony that you did on the channel or on the radio program.
Well, we have all your support too, and we appreciate that.
We appreciate what
really
you're
do.
doing, Eric.
We really do. Not doing this alone.
God bless.
And thank you.
You too.
Yeah, so, everyone can do a little bit to get the message out. And, many people listening into this program, I'm sure they've done, just speaking up and talking. Maybe everyone's not an activist. I have 4 children that kind of left the Watchtower, but they're not activists. I don't even, they don't even come on my program, but they don't, they don't really, they're just, Dad, that's it. I'm going to move on. I'm going to forget about it. But some people become activists and they speak up. And I think that's a good thing that they do that, but not everybody does.
Mhm.
And do you know, there's like, how many ex-Jehovah's Witnesses do you think they are? Well, at minimum, there's 14 million, and at maximum, there's 30 million. So we have a lot of people that have left the Watchtower.
Wow.
All right, I'll turn it back to you guys.
Well, if no one wants to call in, we can relate a couple experiences. We have folks that call us all the time, and we kind of match them up with other ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, and they have really good
And
experiences.
they like each other too.
Yeah, they come back and report to us. We talk to each other for 4 hours, and Jimmy Bell recently connected us with a couple, and we talked for at least an hour. We just have so much in common, and it's just nice to share because we've all been through this religious trauma. No matter, what, doesn't matter. We come from all walks of life, but we've all experienced this religious trauma. So one of the PIMOs, he calls us all the time, and we call him the CIA because he has to go to the meetings. He said he goes because, his wife and his granddaughters. But recently, and I don't know if this is something, we heard it in 2 different places.
This is very interesting.
He said that they were wearing blue suits now. The elders, I don't know if anybody else has experienced this. And also in Texas, they said because they watch on Zoom because they're PMO, and they said they're wearing these blue suits now. And, you know, they've got the blue in the jw.org. And blue seems to be a common theme
Well,
going through them.
and blue is the favorite color of the Freemasons, and clearly, I mean, the witnesses are Masonic backed, and I think they're becoming more and more obviously aligned with their source, and we've heard this at least in two different places, two different congregations. So it's something to note. If you all want to pay attention and see what's going on in your area, it might be interesting what we can report on.
Hi, Fran.
Yes.
Sharon in North Carolina. Hi,
Hey,
Joe.
Sharon.
Hello, Sharon.
You just said blue. Isn't that funny because pedophilia envelopes are blue?
Oh, is that right? Oh, dear.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
And the blue envelope. There's one of the YouTubers is blue envelope, right?
Well, in fact, I think they put the elders put their notes in blue envelopes for the pedophiles.
Is that what Sharon? Is that what you're saying,
Yeah,
Sharon?
that's what the police, when they go, searching the kingdom halls, that's what they're looking for, the blue envelopes.
Yeah.
So I find that pretty peculiar.
Yeah.
And as far as the activism that I personally am doing, since the day I woke up, December 18th, 2012, every day on Facebook, I post something about Watchtower. Every single day. The only time I've missed is when they put me in their fake jail for, sharing facts. That's about the only time I'll miss putting stuff up. But I have people who I don't know contacting me in Messenger, and they ask questions. Why do you always, put the witnesses down? And it's not that I'm putting them down. I'm just telling you what they are. They're evil.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I've had a few people that got really offended about me posting about them being, that they're predators. And now all of a sudden they're coming back and they're telling me, wow, you were right. I should have listened to you. And as a matter of fact, today I just found out another elder in my old congregation was a pedophile for his own daughter, and they shipped her down to Florida from Long Island because they said she was nuts because she reported her father for molesting her. And he's gone now, he died. But instead of them listening to her, her mother said, do you have two witnesses? And the person who told me, who was never a witness, but believed this girl because, this girl was a witness and she never lied to her, she said, I don't understand how the mother could say, did you have two witnesses? And I said to her, yeah, isn't that something? The only time there'll be two witnesses is if those other witnesses are predators also.
Yeah.
So that's all I had to say on that. Great job, Joe and Fran, on that show.
Thank you, Sharon. Good to hear you.
Yes.
Something else I was thinking. Something else I was thinking. It just left my mind. Yeah. So the blue suits, and there was something else somebody mentioned, and I can't remember what it was now.
Previously on Rick's program, everyone was talking about the organization and the abuses taking place in it, the way the people behave, the way our organization's managed. An outsider who didn't know anything about the organization, who didn't know that it was supposed to be a religion, would easily conclude that it's really a criminal syndicate with a front organization posing to hide the criminal behavior behind it. And it's becoming more and more clear that it's really a criminal organization. It's taking advantage of people. It's money laundering. So much, they handle so much money and use it in whatever way they're using it. They are stealing people's time building kingdom halls and then selling them and then using it to cover up pedophilia. And who knows whatever else they're doing. It's like, I don't know how much more of a criminal activity they need in order to be known as a criminal organization. And I think the biggest thing is just to recognize that it's a criminal organization. They just got people thinking that it was a religion. It becomes very clear that way. So, anyone else have anything to add or subtract?
We can talk about our trip.
Oh, dear.
Joe gets nervous every time I talk about the trip, but we're leaving a week from tomorrow, Sunday, and we are heading down to Alabama. We're going to be there for first night we're going to go as far as Virginia. We're going to stop at Salem, Virginia, spend the night, and then we're going to Alabama, spending a couple nights there. Tennessee, like Nashville, Tennessee. Maybe we can meet up with you, Eric. That would be a treat. Yeah. And then we're going on to one night we have to spending in Jackson, Mississippi. And then our destination by April 1st, we are going to be in Fort Worth, Texas. Totally unrelated to the XJW community. It's something else we're following on YouTube. It's a channel called Archaics, and it's going to be at the Stockyards April 1st. But on April 2nd, Gail from the Six Screens, she's going to meet us in Fort Worth at Billy Bob's, and we're inviting anyone in the Fort Worth, Dallas area. We would love to meet you.
Be so nice.
That'll be Sunday, April 2nd. We'd love to meet you. We can send you the information. I think we're meeting there from, not sure the times, but kind of picked that spot because we're going to be close to there. That's where our hotel is.
Yeah.
Then we're going on to New Mexico. We're going to meet up with Kim and Mikey. We're so thrilled. Kim got back to me and I was just so excited. I was like a little kid because we just love their program. Then we're going on to Arizona. We're hoping to meet up with some in Arizona, and then hopefully we get to Southern California. And we've got so many friends in California.
They're all your friends.
Yeah, they're all your friends, and we're going to kind of place ourselves in Southern California, and hopefully, because we're not really good drivers, and especially California, we hear all these horror stories. So if people want to meet us there, we'll tell you where we're going to be in Southern California.
Yeah. Any suggestions or warnings or anything? We'd appreciate it.
Yeah, we know they had all the snow in California, and now the flooding.
Fran,
Yes.
Hello.
it's Eric. How are you?
Hi,
Yes,
Eric.
good, Eric.
Good.
Hey, can I give you all my email and you let me know when you're going to be in Nashville? Because Rick's saying Memphis, but I'm actually closer to Nashville. I'm about 35 minutes from that, or 33 miles from Nashville.
Of course.
My email is my name. It's Eric, E-R-I-K, Kubler,
Okay.
B as in boy, L-E-R, 1981 at Gmail.
Okay, you kind of broke up, Eric. I'm sorry.
E-R-I-C.
No, E-R-I-K.
Oh, I'm sorry. E-R-I-K.
Okay.
And then C-U-B-L-E-R.
C-U.
Umbrella, B as in boy, Larry, Eric.
R. Got it.
Kubler.
At what?
At Gmail.
Gmail. Got it.
At Gmail, sorry. 1981 at Gmail.
1981
at Gmail. Great.
Okay, we got it.
Got it.
We'll be in touch with you for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
So you're closer to Nashville?
Yeah, I'm not in Memphis. I'm actually 33 miles from Nashville.
Okay, so that's not too bad.
It's about a 40-minute drive with no traffic.
Wow, that would be great.
My wife and I would love to meet up with you and have dinner or something.
Oh, we'd love that, Eric. We
We're
would
gonna
love that.
work at it.
So just for our sake,
All right.
so we don't go crazy,
Actually, it was for my sake.
for Joe's sake, we got an itinerary.
Yeah, it's
Fran, just one more question. This is Christine from Arizona. Where in Arizona are you going to be?
We're going to be near Phoenix, Peoria, and then I'm not sure which route we're going to take, but you're down in, where are you, Christine? I forgot.
Way south. Yeah, way south, too far. And I don't drive anymore, but boy, yeah.
No, are you in Yuma?
I'm in Tucson.
Oh, that's right, Tucson. Yes, I've got your address. Well, you never know.
never know.
Too far. Yeah.
Because we have to get over to we have to get over to Palmdale. We have to get over to North Hills, California. We're hoping to meet up with Linda James, if we can meet up with Linda, the Pasta Babe, and Nadine, JP, is that his initials, JP? And yeah, so we got a lot in California.
Well, I used to live in San Diego County. I would have definitely possibly been able to do it if I was there. But how long is your trip gonna most likely? I don't know if you have an estimated how long.
I don't know.
We
really don't know. I don't mean to be too confident about it at all, but it would be a miracle if it all goes exactly according to plan.
Yeah, we have a plan, but you know how plans are.
Well, you're putting in a lot of miles, boy, I tell you. Yeah, really wish you the best and the safe trip.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
The biggest concern we have right now is we have an 07 Saturn Aura. It's a really good car, but it's got a lot of miles on it and rust. So we've been online looking for Saturns in the southern part of the country because they don't use salt. And if anyone wonders why they use salt up here, it's because of the ice, because it causes rust on the cars.
Yeah.
So
Right.
we're keeping our eyes open for.
It would be nice if it was affordable to do a little RV, and then you have a place to. You always have a place to sleep, get a little.
I don't think it'd be affordable at all.
The motels actually are not that expensive.
No, motels
They're really
are
not
fine.
that expensive.
Motels would be cheaper than an RV, I bet.
Oh, good.
Yeah, once we get to California, a couple of the ex-friends, I'm going to call them friends, they're our friends.
They're friends.
Our friends are willing to put us up. So.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, I would love to do that for you.
Well, thank you, Christine.
Thank you.
I'm just wishing you the best on your trip. It just sounds like a real adventure.
It is.
It will be an adventure. It will be that. It will be. Yeah.
And thank you again for all you do as far as reaching out. If all of us, I didn't know there were that many million XJWs like Rick brought out. I didn't know that.
That's amazing. Kids, can we repeat what that was again, that figure? The number of X?
Was it 14 million?
The least number was 14 million.
Wow.
There was a bigger, he put out another number, I think, in the second one.
Wow.
So the second number.
This is 30 million.
Yeah, 30 million. That's
30?
yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a shame for them. I mean, think about all the money they could be getting from 30 million. Come on.
Wow.
They're not doing too good at it. You lose 30 million customers, That's not a business.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello. Thank you, Christine.
I want to be brief. This is Zachary.
Hello,
Hi,
really
Zachary.
enjoyed your interview with the radio station. I mean, that was one of those ones that gets into your heart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It sounds to me, I just want to say this, it sounds to me like the two of you are now, when you tell about what you're going to do, your travels, it sounds to me like you're entering the circuit work.
Oh, boy.
You didn't think you'd be entering the circuit work when you left the did you?
Yes, the
Oh,
circuit
yeah.
of
Circuit.
XJWs. Well, we told we could have a convention out in California
right.
with the number
That's
of
right.
X's we know out there. No joke.
Well,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
you enjoy yourselves.
Well,
Thank
you,
you,
Zachary.
Zachary.
Thank you.
Talking to, okay? All
Thanks
right.
so much.
for
Thank you. Good to hear you.
that interview. That
Yeah.
was enjoyable.
Thank you.
Hi, Joe and Fran. Zachary. Hey, Joe and Fran. How are y'all?
Good.
Is
How
this
are you,
Debbie?
Debbie?
Yeah. Which direction are you going? How far up north are y'all going before you head back to your place?
How far north
I
are we
don't know.
going?
I have
We're
no idea.
Well, going out.
You're going to be in Nevada? Or are you just kind of going to go up through Colorado or Wyoming?
Oh boy, that's a future that I
no,
can't tell you.
Debbie, you're in Nebraska. Don't worry. I
Nebraska.
got you on the.
Yeah.
I got you on the radar, Debbie.
Yeah. Yeah.
We-
Yeah.
My granddaughter worked at the nicest hotel here, and I'm sure she could get you a suite or something.
Wow.
We'll keep that in mind.
Well, we haven't planned the return
No,
trip
no, we
because
just
we've
have
got to get out there first.
it.
But
Yeah.
we were thinking of the return trip, like Utah. We would love to see
I see
Utah.
Utah.
We watch a lot of YouTube videos of what are they called?
Off-road
Recovery.
recovery.
Off-road recovery.
Oh, and it shows the whole state.
Yeah,
Absolutely
Utah.
beautiful.
We'd love to go through Utah, Colorado, possibly Nebraska, Kansas. I'm not sure.
There's a lot
We're
of
not sure.
there's a lot of states.
I'm not far from Kansas. I'm about 4 or 5 hours from Denver. I'm on that side.
Oh, you're closer to Denver?
Yeah, I'm in the southwest corner, sort of.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
We'll keep that in mind.
Well,
And we're like 40 miles from the Kansas state line.
Debbie,
Okay.
40 miles.
Okay.
Anyway,
We're gonna put all this in the computer and see how it comes out
40 miles from where? From
from the state line, Debbie.
state line.
from the north about, they told me it was about 40 minutes, 40 miles from the Kansas state line, but I don't know what town in Kansas.
Oh, that's okay. That's
Well,
okay.
we've got your address,
That's okay.
Debbie, so
We'll
don't
figure it
you
out.
worry.
Yep.
We'd love to meet every single one of you.
Y'all big old hug. And I was born in Memphis, Tennessee, so that might be why I have a little bit of a southern drawl.
Oh, a
You
little
do?
bit, huh? A
Do
little.
you? I didn't. Yeah, it's a beautiful one.
Hey, Debbie.
Well,
Debbie.
I love y'all, and I'm happy to be seeing y'all on YouTube now.
Good to hear you.
And it's possible we may try to do our one of the shows while we're on the trip.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We'll have
Yeah.
internet.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll keep you all posted.
Yes.
We'll keep a little map going where we are. We're excited.
Yes.
That would be nice. I think that would be great. Okay, well, thank y'all for everything. I love you so much. And
We love you too, Debbie.
I love you giving my name and number to a few of the ones that wanted to talk, because I'm getting to make more new friends. So.
Oh yes, new friends.
I enjoy talking to, so I don't have any problem talking to people.
Oh, that's good. Well, I'm glad.
That's because you love them. Thank you, Debbie.
Okay. I'll see y'all later.
Okay.
Someone's wondering if we have an email. We can give you our.
Well, I was wondering if you guys were going to put your show on the road there on the show.
Road. Yeah, it's charge admission too.
You got an idea?
Yeah. I think you've got quite a road show there, and I look forward to seeing more about it.
Yeah.
Oh, we'd love to meet
What I
you.
was calling about, I talked to Roland on his show earlier, and he knew of some people where the older person, they tried to extort their property. So it's not just what happened to me and Mom. And there was a big case in Montana too. So as you mentioned the shunning, when you go out to California, mention to them also about how the seniors that are longtime witnesses, they're extorting the property.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Or
No,
trying.
that's big. This is organized crime. That's all there is to it. It's organized crime.
I agree with you, and I try to use the word criminal.
That's
And
forward.
the average Joe average out there in the supermarket, Mindy and Ralph out there, they're not aware of any of these things regarding the witnesses.
Well, I think more and more with the help of Germany and whatever else, I think they're going to become more aware. I really do. I really do.
Well, I was thinking of this top 10 card idea because we've got the CSA issue, the shunning issue, the blood issue, the extorting of senior property, and the treatment of women and children, and also people that may not fit the mold they want them to.
Yeah.
There's a lot of abuses on a lot of levels.
Yeah. And they're very desperate now too.
Yes.
Well, Joe and Fran, I'm sorry, go ahead, Pixie.
I'm glad your lawyer was successful in his letter writing, and that's a real triumph. And thank you for sharing that today.
Yes. Well, look, and throughout this whole thing, everything that I did is I sought assistance. I sought help outside of ourselves, because I knew we couldn't do this on our own. There's no way. Look here what Rick has done to support everyone, to give us all a voice. That, and plus the radio station, the lawyers, our relatives, you, the friends, each other. Seek the support that you have, and go forward with a plan, your plan.
And if anyone would like to be connected with XJWs around the country, we would love to connect you.
Yeah.
I just put our email in the chat, but we can give it to you. If you're ready, we'll give you our email. Okay? Yep.
For one moment, I don't have the pen.
Well,
before you broadcast.
It's really easy. It's our name. So it's J, which stands for Joe, and AND, and F for my first initial, and then our last name, Guerino, Guer.
Again, please.
Yep, it's J, A, N as in Nancy, D as in David, F as in Fran, Guerino, GUERI, N as in Nancy, O at gmail.com. J and F Guerino at gmail.com.
Thank you.
And I said it, we said it before, we'll say it again. If anybody has any comments, insight, criticisms, suggestions, or anything, we're open. We've got a great group of people that have great experience and background, and we're open for that.
Well, Joe and Fran.
Again, just so they get those issues to California and on your trip, sounds marvelous.
Yes.
Safe travels.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Joe and Fran, this is Rick. But I'm thinking that this is really amazing to me. I'm just sitting back in my chair here and listening. All of these people that aren't they loving? My goodness, you never met them.
Yeah.
They hear you on the 6 screens. They hear you speaking about what's going on behind the curtains. And all of them are so willing to invite you into their home and be with you. And you're like rock stars. I mean,
No, we're not rock stars. No,
did
no.
that did that ever happen in the Watchtower? I mean, what a
Mm,
the
no.
ex-witness world is so much more loving
They are.
than,
Oh,
no, I'm not going to make a blanket statement. There were some witnesses that were pretty nice, but most of them, you know, you'd be hard pressed to get a ride to the Kingdom Hall.
I know.
Really?
Look, it's a beautiful bunch of people. It's a tremendous group of people. It's that basically were selected or selected themselves out of that organization and prove themselves to be the ones that want to love and appreciate what's true and stand up for what's good and right. I mean, if that's not inspiring or impressive, I don't know what is. And so that's what moves us forward.
Well, no,
Everything.
that's what I'm thinking here, Joe. I'm sitting here listening. I'm saying these people really mean it. They're not just going through the motions. They really mean it. They'd love to have you come visit them. This is amazing in the ex-witness world. And it really is. They really have this sincere, honest, open-hearted connection. They want to connect with everybody that's been touched by the tentacles. And yeah.
Well, that's all the people want. I mean, the people we meet in our daily life, that you meet, and everyone else here meets, don't they just want the same thing we want? You know, they want friendship, acceptance, care, and if we, you know, we show that, we usually find it, and that's what we've been finding.
Well, it's really amazing to me. It really is when you stop and think about it. You know, all of us really are more brothers and sisters now than when we were at the Watchtower. I mean, we really treat each other like
Amen, brother. I agree.
like family. We
I
really
totally agree.
I tell you, Rick, I've even swapped recipes. I had one sister she's in Massachusetts, and we were talking, and I said, we're going to have some exes over. This was last Friday. And I said, I don't know what to make. She says, well, I'm making stew. Why don't you make stew? So I go, we're making stew. And then she said, and I've got a French bread recipe. And I made this French bread recipe. It was delicious. And I'm showing her pictures and we're texting back and forth. And we've never met in person. You know, this is just wonderful. It's opened up our world. Our relatives can't believe it. I mean, we tell them and they just can't believe it.
You know, I have to relate a statement in one of the, I think it was the Awakes. Maybe it was the Awake, maybe it was Watchtower. This is one of the few things that really meant something to me in that publication. And it said, one of the reasons why we would want to live forever is because there would be people there, and people are very interesting to each other. And I said, well, of course. Yeah, that itself is, you know, powerful reason in itself. Just because we're interested in each other and because we find something special in each other. And I totally agree. Totally agree.
Can I chime in?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello. Hello.
All right, I can hear a little bit of a delay there. This is Jonathan, ex-witness awake. I just wanted to just say that I appreciated you coming on my program yesterday. So I thought I'd pay it forward.
and Ryan.
Oh, Jonathan, yes,
That
thank you
was
so
funny.
much. That was great.
Joe and I were just sitting here relaxing last night, and you know, we have our iPad on, and Joe's going through, and all of a sudden we see Jonathan and Ryan, who Gail had interviewed Ryan a while back, and they're saying their guests didn't show up that they were supposed to interview. So Joe said, why don't we get on? Okay, so we were trying to text them and tell them we'll come on. And then he sent the link, and we didn't know how to get the link.
We're a little old.
So we were fumbling around. So finally we got on, and we did an interview with Jonathan and Ryan, and that worked out really well.
Yeah, Jonathan, I was all ready to listen to a nice interview.
It was funny.
Well, we'll have to have that for another day. But I appreciate that you were
joined in there, and it was nice to meet you. So,
Me
Yes,
too.
thank
And
you.
realized you were on the six screens as much. So now that I know that, I'll watch out.
Well, thank
That's
you.
great. You were great.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much too
Yes.
for having us.
And
Yeah,
your son,
Thanks for all the work that you do.
Peter.
Well, John, thank you too.
James, your son. Say
yeah,
hi
we
to
love your
James.
son, James. We said we were going to adopt him as our grandson.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a fun one. He's a handful, so I'm not sure you want to do that.
Good for you.
Well, Jonathan, this is Rick
yeah.
Aaron. Thank you too, Jonathan, for what you do too. I mean, you're out there exposing the Watchtower, and good job. Keep up the good work. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rick.
All righty. Well, my goodness gracious.
Everything
I have to tell you, I'm impressed. I really am impressed. I have seen you guys come out of the doldrums of confusion, not knowing what to do. And now here you are, you're shining a bright light on the Watchtower.
Taught by the best, Rick. Taught by the best.
Well, you're doing really, really good. And I'm so glad that you guys are moving in the right direction. You know, one thing that really impressed me too about you two guys, you had a lot to lose. I'm serious. All of your children were in. That is not easy. I had to do a similar thing, and that hurts. And you dropped the bomb on the Watchtower, and it'd be like Harry Truman. You didn't want to drop the bomb on Hiroshima.
Yeah.
In the long run, it worked for the best for you guys. I mean that sincerely. You're meeting so many new people, and I think it's only a matter of time. And your children are going to say, look at my mother and father. They are real troopers. I think it's only a matter of time, and your children, too, are going to throw the towel in. Let's hope and pray for that.
That's right. Thank you.
We're just showing a picture of when we first came in and getting ready for a meeting. I can't get that glare out of there.
No, you won't.
Anyway, here they are, all dressed for the meeting. And I was just thinking the other day, here they are. They're so innocent, and we bring them into this organization. And how our lives would have been different.
Oh my goodness.
If we did not introduce them to this horrible.
So the least we ought to do is help them to show a way out.
Yeah.
And that's what we hope for.
Yep. Anyway.
As well as with everyone else, for everyone else too.
Yep.
Others.
So that's how we want to end it.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and look forward to hearing Eric.
Well, very good, Fran and Joe, and you guys be safe, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. And then when you go on the road, we can kind of alter it a little bit, however you guys want to do it. But we can even do it on the road if you're comfortable. But don't worry if you can't. We'll work with you, okay?
Sounds good. Thank you, Rick.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
You guys have a good night. Keep standing tall, as we say. Thank you. And we're now going to leave Joe and Fran. We're going to leave this broadcast. We're now going to go into the red pill from the Watchtower. Well, what is that all about? We got Eric. Eric's coming on next. Friends, if you want to know a man that has been totally beat up by the Watchtower, the man coming on here next has been. He's got stories to tell you that you wouldn't believe it. Him and his wife both. But Eric will be on tonight with us. We're looking forward to his program. We're ending this broadcast. Thank you for coming in and commenting. And we really wish Fran and Joe the best. Ending the program now.